Arsenal's pathetic time-wasting tactics exposed. And I'm not surprised to see these numbers that you're about to see for yourself, because Arsenal have been a little bit lacklustre this season. I haven't been impressed, in all honesty, because they've dropped points. Numerous occasions we saw them drop points against Atalanta, and they hardly took the game to Atalanta. Against Brighton, they faced 19 shots against Brighton in the second half, and while, yes, they got a man sent off, Arsenal, but why was that? Why was that? Oh, time-wasting tactics once again. So let's have a look. I've got some stats here for you, straight from Opta. This is the average Premier League delays this season. And look who's top. Look who's top. This flamboyant attacking Arsenal team that want to take the game to you, apparently. You know, a clone of Pep Guardiola, apparently, Mikel Arteta. He's very closer to Jose Mourinho sort of tactics than Pep Guardiola, as far as I'm concerned. But 0.1 second average longer than Leicester. So they're the teams that he's up against. They're the teams that are close to him. Leicester, newly promoted Leicester, have wasted less time than Arsenal. Brentford and Wolves, City down in 5th from bottom there, you can see, as not wasting that much time compared to Arsenal, at least. And I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at these dirty tactics that Arsenal have employed, just setting up a very defensive, negative mentality to try and get over the line. And I don't think they will, unless Arsenal can suddenly flip a switch and change their tactics in the middle of the season. I will be surprised if Arsenal win the league playing this style of football, because it doesn't get you points. It's an archaic, extinct, dinosaur way of playing football that Jose Mourinho, while he did go and win Premier League titles with Chelsea, he had an attacking potency to him as well. The numbers I've got to show you are mind-boggling, because Arsenal haven't even taken the most number of shots this season. You'd think, well, they'd have an attacking threat. They might be wasting time and playing those dirty tactics. I mean, we've seen David Raya pick up a yellow card against Brighton, and then, of course, Saliba picked up a yellow card for time wasting against Spurs. Declan Rice got sent off for time wasting against Brighton. So while you might say that David Raya is entitled to waste a bit of time, and by the way, the total number of minutes that he wasted in that one game against Brighton was 8 minutes. 8 minutes of time was lost in the game, thanks to David Raya taking his time on the ball, being under instructions to do that, under instructions to waste time. Dirty old tactics like that, and they think they're going to win the league by playing football like that, scraping over the line. They've already dropped 2 points in the Champions League, playing pathetic football against Atalanta. They were fortunate Atalanta didn't actually go and win the game with that great save from David Raya, by the way. Fantastic save in that penalty. But that's fortunate to be... You're hanging on, you're clinging on to moments. You need 90 plus points to win the league nowadays. 90 plus points is required. Go and ask Liverpool how it feels to get 98 points in a season and still not win the league. Go and ask Liverpool fans how that feels, because that's what you need. He's never done it, Mikel Arteta. He's got 89 last season. Not bad, but not good enough. That's the ultimate. You need 90 plus points, and that requires goals. It requires attacking football. You can't just hang on for dear life and hope for clean sheet after clean sheet, because you will concede eventually, and then you have to go up the other end and score. Arsenal have got a fantastic record right now away from home, with 11 consecutive games in a row away from home. They haven't conceded first. If we score first against Arsenal, you can almost write the game off, because Arsenal haven't got much to go against that grain to prove that they can come forward, because the total number of shots that Arsenal have had this season, they are joint 15th in the Premier League alongside Brentford, as you can see. I mean, beneath the likes of Manchester United and Southampton have had more shots on goal than, or in total rather, than Arsenal have. That's pitiful. That's pitiful from an attacking sense. And you can't win a league playing football like that. Let's have a look at the XG. So this is the total, this is XG per 90 minutes for these 4 games this season so far in the Premier League. And yes, while the narrative isn't that old yet, there's a long way to go in the Premier League. And that is the point I'm trying to make, that Arsenal need to change. They can't continue like this. They won't keep getting away with it. They were very fortunate against Aston Villa. You know, Ollie Watkins should have made it 2-0. You know, it was an absolute sitter in the first half that he missed. And then an even better chance in the second half. Another great save from David Raya. You know, they were very fortunate against Brighton, getting peppered with shots. And like I said, yes, they were facing 10 men They were playing with 10 men, of course they were. But why was that? Time-wasting tactics again. Just dirty, dirty tactics that meant to be a blend of... They want to be a blend of Mourinho and Pep. It's just Mourinho, but without the quality of Pep's possession. You look at the average possession that Arsenal had against Spurs. 36% possession against Spurs. They had 35% against Brighton. And they was like, oh, well, they had 10 men. Well, they had less than Brighton in the first half with 11v11. So that's at home. That's at home. They've got to do better. So setting up this season to play like this, when last season they were far better at dominating games. You know, the philosophy needs a consistent foundation. You can't be changing from season to season. So last season we're going to try and control the game. We're going to play like Pep does, copy him, identical. We're trying to invert Zinchenko exactly like Pep does, by the way. You know, like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Klopp tried to do that as well. Everyone's copying the master. You know, but you're always one trick behind. So Mikel Arteta's this season has gone completely against that and gone for an incredibly defensive approach and play in the moments. Try and nick the game. You just can't expect Arsenal to come to the Etihad this season and approach with numbers, go forward with numbers. I expect them to have one-on-one moments, and they are expecting and hoping to win their one-on-one duels. Saka versus Gvardiol, or Martinelli against Akanji, or Havertz against Ruben Diaz, and that is it. I don't expect Arsenal to be bombing forward with 7 or 8 players, pinning Manchester City back in their own penalty area. I can't see it at all. And I'll be surprised if they can continue to do that, because like I said, the foundation, the consistent foundation of a philosophy is non-existent. And the change this season, to me, shows a flaky insecurity in Mikel Arteta's own beliefs. And I'm gobsmacked that he's done this, to be honest. So again, there's the XG. I've kept it on the screen for you for a little while now. So at the top of the table, per 90 minutes XG, City well on top, with the only team in the Premier League to break the 2.0 mark with XG per 90 minutes, and Arsenal down in 10th beneath Fulham and United and Nottingham Forest. Like, you ain't winning the league with that. But then it's like, well, hang on, what about their fantastic defence? What about their superb defence? Like I said, emphasis on fortunate. They've been very, very fortunate in games. And here is the XG against. Manchester City on top with 0.89. So Manchester City have the best XG and the best XG against. That is title-winning form. Albeit it's 4 games old, there's plenty of time for this to change, so don't make this a statement for the whole season. My point is they need to change. Arsenal will need to change if they want any hope of winning this league, because it can't continue like this. So XG against Arsenal also, again, in 10th. 10th. With this fantastic defence. And yes, they've kept reasonably good amount of clean sheets. They've not been conceding first in away games, 11 in a row, like I've already mentioned. It can't continue. It won't continue. They can't continue to get lucky in that department. You know, and hanging your hat on set pieces, with Arsenal having the most amount of time wasted on taking corners. That's in an attacking sense. But what's your excuse for David Raya wasting time? 8 minutes against Brighton. There's no attacking threat from a bloody goal kick. You're just wasting time, mate. It's just dirty old tactics that are dead. Dead. You don't win the league like that. You've got to get 90 plus points. And that requires goals. You've got to come to the Etihad and score. Last season, I said it and I got laughed. I got laughed at by Arsenal fans who was giddy, foaming at the mouth at the idea that, oh, we got a point at the Etihad. Oh, yeah, aren't we good? We got a point at the Etihad. We parked the bus and got a point at the Etihad. And I go back to my video title from a year ago. At the end of last season, when we faced Arsenal at the Etihad, Arsenal will regret that. They did. They absolutely regretted that. Beyond belief, because it cost them. Those 2 points that they could have got if they showed some fucking balls and came to the Etihad and actually tried to take us on for going blow for blow for this fantastic Mikel Arteta clone of Pep Guardiola football style that we're supposed to be seeing right now. They could have taken 3 points, because we were not at our best last season. We got 91 points last season. And we were nowhere near our best. Without Gundogan, we'd lost Mahrez, we'd lost Laporte, we had Haaland out for a third of the season, we had Kevin De Bruyne out for 2/3 of the season, and we still got 91 points. We were playing Kyle Walker and Josko Gvardiol as wingers, and we got 91 points. Do you know what I mean? That's the idea of, don't put Kyle Walker and Gvardiol in this dirty low block. Send them forward, mate. Get them into a winging position and try and get that ball into Erling Haaland to get more goals. Erling Haaland scored more goals than your entire team, Arsenal, so far this season. By 3 as well. If they've scored 6, he's got 9. And he's on 99 goals in two seasons and 4 games, 99 goals. He could score his 100th goal against this Arsenal side. And I mean, it's a hard one to predict because while I'm criticising Arsenal's tactics, it's worked for them so far in terms of them getting them just over the line and clinging onto the coattails of Manchester City this season. They are within touching distance of Manchester City and 1 game away from overtaking us. Because the season's so young, I can't emphasise enough, though, that this can't continue. It absolutely cannot continue at all. So, and I'll be absolutely gobsmacked if Arsenal go and win the league playing this football throughout the entirety of this season. But like I said, they live on the moments. And I think if we score first, I think we win the game. And if we keep Saka quiet, they don't score. Because, I mean, he's predominantly their main goal threat this season with 4 assists and a goal. They've only scored 6. And 4 assists and a goal from Saka means shut the shop down for him. You shut down Arsenal. They will say the same about Erling Haaland, though, because he's got 9 goals and from our total of 11 so far this season. So if you shut down Erling Haaland, which will be their ultimate priority in this game, is shutting down Erling Haaland. But I would love nothing more than a 96th minute winner from a set piece from Erling Haaland, nodding one into the net against Arsenal. That would be absolute poetry, wouldn't it? Absolute justice. The irony of what that would be. Time wasting and set piece experts having it done against them, giving them a taste of their own medicine. There's no reason why I don't see that could happen. I really believe that could happen, but you never know. You never know. Right, team news. Few injuries more for Arsenal to worry about, but only the one that would actually make it into their starting 11 in truth. Of course, that is Odegaard. Mikel Moreno, we're not to know whether he would have made it into their starting 11 or not if everyone was fit, but he's a big blow for them considering they've just signed him. Zinchenko as well, Tomiyasu and Tierney. City, Oscar Bob and Ake are definitely out, and Pep has said Kevin De Bruyne felt better. Quote, we will see how he feels. So I have a feeling that he probably won't play. I'm not sure we need to risk him just yet. As much as it's Arsenal, and I hear the City fans saying, "What? Don't you? If he's fit, you play him." I understand that, but he didn't have his greatest game against Inter Milan. He struggled in the first half. He obviously came off injured as well, which I don't think that played a part in the way he played. I just don't think he played well before the injury either. But we've got Phil Foden, who City fans, a few have disagreed with me, but I think a few have agreed with me at the same time. And that's the game, isn't it? That's the game we love. It's disagreeing on opinions, and I love it. I thought Phil Foden played really well in that second half. Pep agrees with me, and that's the main person who I want to agree with me. If he starts disagreeing with me, then I know I've got a problem on my hands because I know I'm talking shit if Pep disagrees with me. But he said Phil Foden played brilliantly, and that was prior to me knowing that he thought that. So I thought Phil Foden played really well. I feel like he's ready for this game. I feel like he'll be an energy that's more difficult for Arsenal to control. He's better in the pocket than Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne, who's been tending to drift over to that left-hand side and stretch Arsenal, will be the ultimate aim. But if De Bruyne is okay, you could see both play. I wouldn't have a problem with that. And maybe Bernardo Silva drops to the bench. Wouldn't have a problem with that either. I'll get onto the 11 now, but let's start with Arsenal, shall we? So let's put the Arsenal team on the board for you. So I think it would be David Raya. And then I think you'd see Ben White about here. Where's Saliba? Got to find William Saliba, of course. He's going to be about there. Then you'd see Gabriel about there. Jurriën Timber there. And then, of course, Thomas Partey. Jorginho, he'll be in there, no doubt. Kai Havertz will be... he'll be there. That's where Kai Havertz will be. And Declan Rice will be here, of course. And Saka will be there. And Martinelli on the left for Arsenal. So I imagine that's the Arsenal formation that you can expect to see against Manchester City. Let's have a look at Manchester City. Ederson in goal. I think we'll see the same flat back three that we've seen and do very well this season. And I think that it's a fantastic back line for us this season with Gvardiol and Manuel Akanji along that back three. Rico tucking in midfield alongside... Where can I find him? There he is. Rodri. Pop him in midfield. Didn't have his greatest game, by the way, against Inter Milan, Rodri. So you're hoping that was just him dusting off the cobwebs against Inter Milan. And he'll need to up his game in that midfield against Arsenal. And I have every reason to believe he will. I'm going to go with Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva and hope that Kevin De Bruyne is back for the next game. I want to see the locksmiths of our team, the players that are most likely to break down a low, disgusting block like that that we'll see in numerous times in the game. We'll see a dirty low block from Arsenal. No two ways about it. So I would like to see Savinho play, and I'd also like to see Jeremy Doku play on the left with Erling Haaland up top, of course. And I think those two wingers, I'm not convinced. This is what I want to see. My actual prediction would be Jeremy Doku on the right and Jack Grealish on the left. I think that's what Pep will do because he has so much love for Jack Grealish. But my preference would be to see Doku on the left or right and Savinho on the left or right. Either or, really. I'm not too fussed. I would actually prefer to see them the other way. So if we're going to do the formation exactly how I like it, that's how I would like it. With Doku on the right, more naturally, because you saw the danger he brought in the last 10 minutes against Inter Milan, playing on the right side of the pitch, using his strongest foot, doing the shimmy ya, shimmy yam, shimmy yay. You know, the typical moves, and he got 2 out of 4 crosses completed. For anyone who missed the player ratings, go and check out the stats for Jeremy Doku's 10 minutes on the right wing against Inter Milan versus the 80 minutes of Bernardo Silva, who did play the first half in the middle of the pitch, mind you, so he wasn't completely out on that right side. But Doku brought so much to the game in 10 minutes. Danger. Gundogan's header as well in that final moment of the game, you're thinking that could have been 1-0, nicked it. You know, you have Doku on for the full 90, Haaland in the middle. I have no reason to think that we can't use these two wingers and just smash that door down, kick the living shit out of that Arsenal door that's going to be just this big red and white barricade in front of their goal for the whole 90 minutes, and preying on some miraculous one-on-one counter-attacking skill, which is a very realistic possibility with Saka's ability. He's quality. Martinelli's speed on the counter-attack against Akanji, who's not the quickest. He's not slow, but he's not as quick as Martinelli. Martinelli's speed could certainly do some damage against that side of Manchester City's defence. And Kai Havertz he's a conniving little player, isn't it? I say little, he's big. Another reason to worry about him is his aerial duels are very strong. Kai Havertz is good in the air. His hold-up play is fantastic. He's not as great, nowhere near as good as Erling Haaland in front of the goal, but still, you know, you give 2 or 3 chances to that front three, you could easily see Arsenal getting a 1-0 goal scrappy win out of this game, or a set piece, something that they've been very good at for the last 2 seasons, in truth. So that's the area of the game, and if we prevent Arsenal from even getting into our final third, they won't get set pieces to do damage to us. So if we can pin them backers like this, it's very much in Manchester City's favour this game. I'm going to go 2-0 Manchester City. What are your predictions? Get in the comments below. Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear them. Arsenal fans as well. If you think you can come to the Etihad and beat us, let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to Typical City, and I'll see you in the next one.
This is Typical City now.